to Kitchen Conversations with the Bakers.
Hey, you know what?
What?
I got a tan
Oh,
line.
wait, guys. Look what.
No, don't do that.
I want to show them. They're
No.
not going to be able to see this.
No.
Guys, Chris is a avid, do you call yourself a cyclist?
I'm a cyclist.
I was going to say bike rider, but I didn't feel like that was appropriate.
That's not appropriate.
He's a cyclist.
I picked it up post-COVID. I was bored, and if you know anything about me, I I gotta get my mentals right. Okay, so I gotta, whether it be, I gotta work out, I gotta do something. Cannot stay stuck in a house. So I went and bought a bike, and I started bike riding and
cycling. No, bike riding.
Bike riding.
And he's worked himself up to, was it Father's Day? You were gone, you rode like 50 miles?
Yeah, you know why? Let me give you the backstory behind that. It was that Sunday morning I had preached, and so we pre-recorded it, of course, and that was the Sunday morning that they were airing it. And real talk, I am my worst critic.
Yeah.
And so
we all are kind of,
it was me like not wanting to look at the message because of my own insecurities as just a communicator. And so people will be texting, but that was my way of avoiding having to face. I didn't have to go to church that morning. So I rode my bike for 50 miles and almost died.
It's like, you've been gone for 4 hours.
4.5 hours. Man, it was bad. Anyway, so, but yeah, I got tan lines. And black people don't really have tan lines.
It's like a farmer's tan. So it's darker down here, but lighter up here.
Because I'm not going to wear no tan, what you call it?
Right.
Tan spray?
Sunscreen,
that's what it called. Well, we use 100. Black people use 100. White people be having that 25% stuff, man.
I do 50. Like, I don't want skin damage, but I don't mind a little color.
I want mine to completely reflect the sun like a mirror. Get it off me. Yeah.
So crazy.
How do we get there?
I don't know. But
You're pretty, man.
Stop it.
I'm just serious. Like, I think guys, sometimes we've been married as long as we have, sometimes you got to look at the spouse and like make yourself like find something attractive about it.
Did you say make yourself?
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you have to make yourself?
No, I said I'm sure people do that.
Oh.
But I don't because you're
like
pretty.
really clean that up.
I clean that up good. I've always told her she's pretty. She got she's got that Indian. White Indian.
Moving on, people. Moving on.
No.
Today we're talking about apologies and.
Got to pick up on our last conversation.
Yeah. We're gonna pick up on kind of where we left off, where we kind of hinted to, because if you aren't apologizing, you're not living. Because, like we've said and we'll always say, we've been married 16 years and we're still trying to figure this thing out. 3 kids later, we're still working at building a healthy relationship and maintaining that healthy relationship, and then growing in grace with each other as well. And so you were talking about how earlier on in our marriage,
someone in this here frame.
You don't have to tiptoe around me. Just go ahead.
Someone in here. You don't have to tiptoe around me. Just go ahead. Anyway, I ain't gonna say what she's so funny.
Go ahead.
No.
I will humble myself if
under the mighty hand of God. But let me tell you, she ain't gonna ever humble herself. She ain't gonna humble herself to me. Okay?
It's not happening.
It ain't happening. All right. So she talking about this whole apology stuff. It's like Justin Bieber. What's that song? Justin Bieber's got a song too.
Okay.
I don't know the words. I'm the musician. I don't know the lyrics.
He knows no words to no songs.
Yeah. So the anatomy of an apology.
Okay.
Is
well,
what
that's
we're going to
fancy.
exegete. We're going to exegete from that today.
Yeah.
So yeah, you take it away since you're the expert. Go
well,
ahead.
I'm just saying, like, you can't be married. You can't really even be in any relationship worth anything, and not at some point in some season finding yourself needing to, say you're sorry. I don't even like those words coming out of my mouth.
That's bad taste in your mouth.
It does. It's like, ugh.
This is how she used to say, "I'm sorry."
Okay.
She'll be like, "Well, babe, I'm sorry if you felt I said such or I made you feel a certain way." Now, see, I'm a processor, okay? I'm the worst at taboo because it's like the beach ball on the mat. Like that's for quick-witted people.
Yeah.
Tina, my mother-in-law, she's quick-witted. My brother-in-law, Mark is quick-witted. They're all quick. Nina, they quick-witted. Me and like Travis, we got the beach balls, man. So we're processors.
We're processors.
So when she said
And there's
that to me,
nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with it at all. Because when we come back, we're gonna come back fully loaded.
Fully
You can best
loaded.
believe that. There ain't no out. I got you. Checkmate. Game's over. But
Moving on.
whenever she would say that, my beach ball would start spinning because I'm like, I'm trying to find the real apology in here, but there is no apology because she was saying, I'm sorry if you felt like. I'm like, stop there. I told you what I felt like. So don't be giving me that little disclaimer, right?
Whatever.
Let me tell you, she missed the calling. She could have been an amazing lawyer. You know what? For Ye, I say to you,
Oh, no. Get off my head.
Go back to law school.
No, it's true though. It's important. Nobody, honestly, it's not just me, guys. So please show me some love. Y'all know it's not just me who doesn't like to apologize. Most of us, by nature, you two included. Well,
No.
okay,
I don't
so
have a
you're
pro- I don't have-
you're superhero in this thing. But most of us, by our nature, don't like to. We don't like the way it feels to have to apologize to someone. But if our relationships are going to last, if they're going to grow, if they're going to be all that they can be, we're going to have problems, we're going to have hurdles, and you cannot avoid at some point owning to your mistake, even if it was possibly an offense, even if it was unintentional. I feel like that's where I live. My junk ain't, it's not my junk ain't intentional.
Y'all are witnessing.
I didn't intend.
Y'all are witnessing brilliance. This right here, I'm telling you, sometimes I sit back and I'm like, you have a beautiful mind. Like, you really think you're going to get me on this, but you're not. Like, all I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to kind of shut down for a moment. And I'm going to just go in my own little place and I'm going to figure things out. And I'm going to come back and show you that you really did not get that one. You didn't pull that one over on me. You thought you were smart, but you didn't get me.
Yeah, well, it's important, again, just going back to
real talk.
the topic.
No.
It's that,
Were you saying I got off topic? You see that shade right there?
if you felt like what I said.
See what I'm saying? Perfect analogy. This is our life. Welcome to the Bakers. This is how we...
It takes a lot of energy to love me, people.
Man, you talking about energy.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's something that everybody struggles with. I don't care who you are. Even if you're like a parent, as a dad, I grew up in a home. I always say this. My dad, he's an amazing father.
Such a good dad.
He's a good dude. Paul Edward Baker Sr. He's the man. He's my hero. But my dad was, the house was like, I'll share this with you. The house was, it was his domain, and what he said went. My dad was like, yo, everybody get up. You didn't ask, you didn't say I didn't want to, you did whatever my dad said. Mm-hmm. And one thing I never really heard my dad say, out of all of the amazing, wonderful things that he said to us and encourages us kids, I've never heard him say, yo, Chris, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As a dad and as a parent, we make mistakes. And I'm going to tell you how to get like relational equity with your kids.
Yeah.
It's not in like, you can try to dot every I and cross every T, but you're going to miss it. The thing that our kids, really love, and I've learned this about my boys and even my daughter, is that I will, say to them, you know what, Dad missed it.
Yeah.
I will humble myself and say,
I hate having to apologize to
man, apologizing to your kid. Like, them suckers.
It just feels unnatural.
It's unnatural. It should not happen. Listen, the whole time I'm saying it's a warring in my members. Like, you shouldn't be apologizing. But I'm realizing that I'm modeling something that I want them to grow into.
Yes.
Because I want them to be the fathers that whenever they miss it, whenever they, just whatever, they make a mistake.
Don't have the patience that they should have, or
they can
said
go
something that wasn't.
Or yell, like
whatever.
just, you take a tone with your kids that you shouldn't take.
Yeah.
The ability to go back and say, you know what, Jaden,
Mom
man,
missed it.
yo, I missed it. I'm sorry for that. And so I just want to encourage you. It's not easy to do, but it's something that is absolutely necessary if you are endeavoring to have a real healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And it takes work. It takes accountability.
Yeah, it does.
Like, man, to call your own self on the carpet, and I think self-righteousness is a bad thing. It's awful. She's so self-righteous sometimes, but God is still working on me. What's the song?
You want me an apology for that?
I'm sorry if you felt like...
Oh,
if you felt like I call you self-righteous. No, so go
it's
ahead,
just, we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna have to apologize. It doesn't matter how spiritual we are or how mature we think we are. On our best days, we're still missing it.
And we're human.
Because we are human.
We are human.
So,
what's some steps, babe?
You know, well, some of the things that I've been thinking about, and I even talked with some of our Thrive ladies about this before, is like...
Thrive ladies, what's up?
One of the things that I think is so important for the person, like if you offended me in some way, whether it was intentional or not, it's important for me to hear you take ownership for that. Mm-hmm. And I'll turn this in a minute so that you will feel like you're the one in boiling water.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Like we have to acknowledge that, yes, something did go wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like if we just ignore it and keep sweeping things under the rug,
man.
or as a person who's offended, if you offended me and I don't verbalize it or sit down and have a conversation with you, all I do is I just keep stuffing it, just stuffing it more and more and more. And then what happens is you do one little thing and that's my breaking point and it all comes, flooding out, which is unfair. It would be unfair to you or unfair to the other person in your life.
Yeah,
so I think it's important that if somebody brings something to our attention, it's super important to hear them and acknowledge what it is that they're saying.
Let's practice that real quick.
I don't want to.
She didn't do that. You know what? There's a saying, we teach what we need most. We teach what we need most.
It's important for the other person to hear you say like, oh, we may not be in complete agreement about it, but I can say to you, I can see how you could feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another thing is just to take responsibility.
That's it.
To really just like admit, and I just say, some things to my kids. Like, yo, I missed it, man.
Yeah.
Babe, I missed it. I'm not gonna be so big that I cannot humble myself and say, yo, I'm sorry. You know what? Yeah. Taking responsibility is a huge thing. It's very humbling.
It is, because you know what we have a tendency to do is like we try to transfer the blame.
Oh man.
We know good and well like we're the ones who was in the wrong in that situation. But if we're not as mature as we need to be, or if we're still working and growing in this area, we have a tendency when somebody brings something to our attention is try to like transfer that blame to somebody else. But I know that like you can never actually repair something if we're always trying to transfer the blame to something else. Something or someone.
Man, your mom said something to me. This was in our first, our early years of marriage, and I sat down because I needed to crack the code. And if you want to crack the code, you better talk to that mama and you better look at that daddy and see how they interact. Fellas, I'm giving you like gold right now.
This is good stuff. This is premarital counseling.
This is free. Like you better look at how the mom and dad interact with each other, but then you can also like have conversations because the mom or the dad, they have been living with her
they've been trying to crack this code for 40 years.
So they got that's some great information. And so I remember I was going to her and I was kind of talking to her. She may not even remember this. Like, yo, I'm frustrated about this and this is kind of what's going on. And she said something to me that really changed the very trajectory upon which I look at our, from a relationship. And she says, you know what, Chris, I want you to understand something. If it's real to her, then it's got to become real to you.
Man, that's so powerful. You should say that one more time.
If it's real to her, then it needs to become real to you. And vice versa. If it's real to me, I can come to her and say, yo, this is how I'm feeling about X, Y, and Z. If she looks at it and is like, yo, well, the reason why you feeling that way is because blah, blah, blah. And, it's like, no, you know what? Sit back, swallow your pride, because really that's like at the real core of a lot of this mess.
This is true.
To say, yo, if it's real to you, then it's real to me. Let me listen to you and let me try to get an understanding of your perspective and how I missed it. So taking responsibility is another step. What's another step?
Well, also because you want to be able to learn from that. The hope is that we don't have the same situation again. Otherwise, we're just repeating cycles and we're not learning. I'm not like repeat offenders. Like, don't keep apologizing for the same thing. If you come into that altar, you better find a new reason.
Hey, I tell people at church, don't keep coming to the altar for the same thing. I need you to come to the altar with a different problem next week. Okay, anyway, sorry.
So I think the next step for me would be just like find a way to make it right.
Yeah.
That sounds simple, but I think that it's so helpful in tough times. Find a way to make it right.
Wash dishes, fellas.
Yes. Know what each other's love language is, because let me tell you something. If I left the house and I was upset that day and we hadn't really had a chance to process it, I'll come home and I know that he's trying to and I don't mean this in a negative way. I mean, I feel like you'll do things for me. You'll make sure the candles are lit, or you'll turn my heating pad on, or you know what I'm saying? Like little things like that matter to me. That I feel like that's just you're softening me so that we can sit down and actually have a conversation.
She turns my foot warmer on at night sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes I walk in there, she's in the bed with her heating pad on, and my foot warmer ain't even on.
I missed it.
She missed it that night.
But yeah, but we have to aim at finding a way to bring some reconciliation to whatever it is that happened. So like it's acknowledging that something went wrong. It's also like whoever the offender is. And it could be both of us, right? Because if things get heated, we might both say or do something that we both deserve or need to apologize for. It's not always just one person.
Yeah.
We want to try to find a way to make it right. And then I'm gonna tell you something that's important. Like avoid repeat performances of that same thing, which you mentioned too. Is so important.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
It's like lamenting versus repenting. Like when you lament, you say I'm sorry, and you go back and do the exact same thing. But when you repent, you literally change your very. It's like an about face. When you was going this way, repent means to stop going this way and return and go in a whole other different direction. I think a lot of times that what we do in our relationships is we lament. And so for the moment,
because we just want the heat off.
We want the heat off. And then we're going to go and do the exact same thing. And what that does is it robs you of relational equity. Yeah. And so the next time you say, I'm sorry, she is saying, or he is saying, yo, I don't believe you, because you're going to turn around and do the exact same thing. You said this the last time. So again,
show us, we need to show people in our actions that we actually get it.
Yeah.
And when you bring something to one another's attention, it's definitely important to show in our actions moving forward when we get tempted to do the same thing or say the same thing. Yeah. Wait a minute, I don't want to repeat performance of this thing. Yeah. And I think the way just to cap it off is to, I hate this part, but to actually just ask for forgiveness. Once we've talked about it, once we've tried to come to common ground, we've taken responsibility. I'm trying to make it right. At the end of it is just, I know that this is where I missed it, and I want to, don't record this. Oh, we're already recording. Dang it!
Because whenever I need it, I can just refer back to this right here. It's like, she's not going to say it out of her mouth, but I do got it on camera when she did say it.
Quit trying to clown me right now. Quit trying to clown me.
Come on, girl. Come on, girl.
Are you finished?
I'm done.
And you wonder why I don't want to apologize, because this is the foolishness that happens. But anyways, it is important to just genuinely ask. If you really love that person, if you really want things to work, if you really want tension to kind of dissipate and, be in a better place with that person, then you really want them to forgive you. So if I genuinely want you to forgive me, then I have to genuinely apologize. Once a year. That's like the Day of Atonement.
That's the Day of Atonement.
Once a year.
We're back in the daggone Old Testament, saints. No, so again, man, thank you guys. I know y'all have a lot to do in life. There's so much going on, but the fact that y'all would take time to just kind of come into our conversation, and we love it. We appreciate it. And again, I want to tell you, we're not perfect in this. We're all striving to be better. So it's just, we want to be right. We want to do our due diligence, try to just be the best version of ourselves, because I think that's what we all deserve. So thank you for listening to Kitchen Conversations. We got some other stuff that we're going to kind of get into that hopefully will be, just good stuff for you.
Beneficial.
Beneficial. Lady, you want to say you're sorry?
No, I just want to say bye. We love you guys. See you next time.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Ooh, shine, shine.